speaking of refinement, Mr. Rome Odunze, was he the first guy to basically create a Christmas tree out of your charting?
In terms of prospects, yes, he is the first prospect, which I'm sure this is like the right podcast to talk about this on.
Yeah.
I go back, I have a love-hate relationship with my own route charts because like sometimes I think people are too color obsessed when like
Yes.
the real information is in the profile, and like I promise you that's going to give you a better look on the player than just like green good, red bad.
Yeah.
But look, it's still by and large a good thing if you are an elite separator, which in my opinion is what Rome Odunze is. He is the first prospect I've charted for any draft class that's been above the NFL, or excuse me, above the prospect average on every single route in terms of his ability to get open. I think that's a great kind of like just stamp of approval for who Rome Odunze is, because he is in that like 10% bucket that we talked about earlier, where he has a lot of contested targets, but
yes,
not because he's not getting open, man. Like, watch this guy play. Like, watch the Michigan film. Watch like these big time games he plays in. Like, he is a guy that gets open and sometimes gets thrown into contested situations. It's the same thing with Drake London, right? Like, that was very similar there. A lot of contested targets, a lot of contested catches. Is it because he can't separate? No, I mean he's a big guy and he's trusted in those situations, and he plays with an erratic quarterback. Kind of from a downfield passing perspective. Even though Michael Penix is certainly better than whatever USC was rolling out that year with Drake London. But yeah, I think overall, like, Rome Odunze, super clean prospect, can do everything extremely well. Like, if we were to sit down and do a superlatives exercise, I could throw him as the best in the class for a variety of different things. I struggled really hard in terms of who do I like better, Rome Odunze or Marvin Harrison. I ultimately ended up going with Harrison by a just kind of a hair there in this draft class. But Rome Odunze is my wide receiver too. He and Harrison are more samey than Malik Neighbors is, because Neighbors is, he plays so much out of the slot. Some of that production out of the slot in college football is definitely a little BS. Whereas like you have just two classic like X receiver types that, depending on where they land, some teams can get the best out of that archetype, some cannot. Like, I think that's a great thing for your model to sort of like adjust for that. But overall, just such a clean player, so well rounded. I think he's another very high floor player with a high ceiling as well.
Yeah, to speak to your contested catch, according to PFF, excuse me, he had 28 contested targets. He caught 21, which is ridiculous to have a 75% catch rate on a screen pass. Like, these running backs, some of them have, 75% catch rate. You're like, yeah, pretty good running back. And every pass is a fucking dump off. This guy's catching 75% of his contested. Unbelievable, because that's what the film shows too. Because I do minimal film work. I rely on you for the rest of it. You do the heavy lifting. That's what we pay you for. But but when I watch, it's like, dude, Penix throwing dimes was probably a lot of what you saw when you watched that film. Penix, like, I don't know much. Like, Danny Kelly was on the pod and he said the best thing. He goes, Penix just has answers, and it's like, it's so true. He doesn't take sacks and he doesn't have low completion percentage. He's not throwing the ball away. He's throwing it into sometimes tight coverage. And of course, Rome is making the catch, but it's not like, bailing him out. It's like, holy shit, that's a great throw. Wow, that's a great catch. Like, there's a lot of those types of plays for Rome Odunze on his tape. Just an incredible player. So I cannot push back. He is clearly my wide receiver 3. I'm with you.